Well, hello there. It's time. Why are you always goofing? Oh, I guess I changed the whether I'm centered up for Takis, so that kind of makes sense. The last time I was online was Takis Day. Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome in. Oh my gosh, where are my chats? Where is everything? Whenever I go a week without streaming, I'm like, what is anything? Hello, Gayfesh. Hello, Mama. Thank you so much, Mama, for renewing your tier 1 sub. Wow. Appreciate that very much. Um, Streamlabs, excuse you. I would like to update the dono goal. For some reason, Streamlabs is just not working right now. I literally just logged on too, and it's like, yeah, but you have to log on again. Anyway, good to be here. Good to be witnessed by you all. Okay, I guess I just cannot update the stream goal now. For some reason, that's super weird. Like, I just logged on to Streamlabs and it was working just fine. Anyway. Okay, now you're gonna work? Okay. Okay. And I just took off my glasses for a minute because I need to get my glasses adjusted. They kind of squeeze the side of my head and they put little indents in the side of my head. So I really need to take them back to the glasses store to get them fixed. But for now, I'm just going to struggle with reading the chat. That's okay. By the way, your noise gate is clipping a little when you're talking softer. Okay, what does that mean? Does that mean that it's turning off? Like that you can't hear me when I'm speaking more softly? Because I keep having to fuck with the settings because it just fucking refuses to work correctly. Let's see. Need to turn the gate down a little bit. Representing the lurkers. What's up, Kitty Tick? What's up, Ox? Hello. Your voice dips out. Okay, so my gate is up too high. That I need to lower the threshold a little bit, I think. Okay, so maybe that helped a little bit. I don't know. We'll find out. I just turned it down a little tiny bit. Yeah, hello everybody in the YouTube chat. If you didn't know, over in the YouTube chat, we have a website chat, which is so much fun. We love it. And it's a great place to hang out. We got the custom emojis. Always a good time. Yes, I'm non-binary. Shock and surprise. So, fun news. The GoFundMe that I'm running hit its goal, which is great. I'm still leaving it open to donations, but I might not. I haven't decided. I'm probably not going to raise the goal. Also, I don't know if anybody else is having this issue, but I'm seeing a lot of dropped frames. Yeah, let me know. I don't know how to fix it. If it's dropping frames, like, is that a connection issue? Yes, the live stream with Arden was a lot of fun. What's up in a box? I know, shock and surprise. I'm non-binary. So, basically, I'm not going to be pushing the GoFundMe as much. And I have gotten, I think that my donations directly to the website have been a little bit low. So I'm going to start pushing that again. Please donate directly to the website. Because I'm still going to, if I have enough money from that, I'm going to save that up too for the move. Which is getting really, really, really soon. Like, it's still September, so maybe the anticipation is starting a little bit soon for me, but I'm in the middle of Renaissance Festival season, and then when Renaissance Festival season is done, I'm going to be like fully in finding a new place to live mode. Not that I already haven't been looking, but In a Box can watch live once this month. For once this month. Nice. And I know everybody's bummed out about us not doing the Sunday streams. I'm sorry. It'll start back up in October. Plus, if you're here and you have not yet hit the like button, consider hitting the like button, Gorge. I appreciate it. It helps the show. Just before the stream, the reason that the stream is late today is that I was being interviewed on the Composting podcast, which was a lot of fun. We watched a movie, and then we talked about the movie, and then we did a little interview, and it was a good time. And I don't know when it's going to come out, but I'll let you know. Got a little honey stick, moisturizing, lubricating my voice. But yeah, we've got like 47 viewers and only like 28 likes. Let's pump up those numbers. Finally got a start date for my new job. Mama Mephistopheles, you got a new job. That's awesome. But yes, this is the last stream we'll see you at until the Sunday streams return. Well, good luck and Godspeed doing your new job. Congrats. And I hope that you make lots of money and then you can save lots of money. So let's kind of get a preliminary idea. Because I started late, so probably the show is not going to be 4 hours long. So we kind of should cut this hanging out segment a little bit short. But what should we talk about today? Do we want to review the debate? Because that did happen. I kind of don't want to do a full debate review. We could like talk about some highlights maybe. And I'm looking at what we have in the Discord server, because you all post your lovely suggestions. Oh no, I'm sorry for those of you who like are bored on Sundays now. Yeah, I don't want to sit here and watch the entire hour-and-a-half debate. That was a little bit crazy. I think I missed the first 5 minutes anyway. JK got clowned by a trans runner. Yeah, I think I saw that in the Discord. Okay, let me look. Oh no, I didn't refill my water. No. Oh well. So we didn't cover this last time, where Trump said that schools were giving children trans surgeries. Because there's that story, and then there's a follow-up story where, like, Moms for Liberty thanked him for making that statement. And then there's the bird flu thing. Hold on, where is this? Something about a human case of bird flu. Is that what it was? But we've already seen human cases of bird flu. But it's typically people who work with birds. Or work with cows or whatever. Okay, so this one is scary because there is no immediate known animal exposure. Also, no ongoing transmission among close contacts or otherwise. Okay. Oh my god, I have cramps. It's not fun. I keep feeling like, oh man, I wish I could get more done during the day. And then I'm like, yeah, but why am I so tired? And then I realize, oh, I'm tired because I got like this new birth control thing. And that is making me like crampy and constantly bleeding, which is great. And then also I am not sleeping great. You can get bird flu from buffalo wings, cow plus chicken. True. Yeah, I think I missed that first 5 minutes where he said the trans surgeries to illegal aliens in prison. Excuse me. Do they celebrate 9/11 in Canada? Gnostic Daedra, welcome to the website. They give gender surgery to aliens in prisons, but not to me. I know, so sad. Thorn Among Roses, 2 weeks out from top surgery today. Congratulations. High five. That was closer to the end, not in the first 5 minutes. Okay, I don't know how I missed that. I was just like listening to the debate last night. The conservative influencers say that they're victims of Russian disinformation. I don't know that I want to cover that though. I don't really care. Okay, yeah, bird flu, no known exposure. I'm gonna click open some links and see what we're looking at for tonight. Okay. There's one link. There's two. That's three. That's technically one story. Donald Trump has triggered a Groyper meltdown. CNN's mishandling of trans healthcare coverage highlights need for trans representation in the news. Highlights need for change. Okay, so we've got a couple of different things that we could talk about today. How's the Ren Fair going? Yo, it's amazing. Obviously, like, I'm really tired because I'm like hiking all day, both days every weekend. But it's great. I get to see friends. I'm getting lots of hugs from people. It's going to be a little bit warm again this week, and I'm not really excited about it being in the mid 80s, but I wish I lived in whatever place Trump thinks America is. Yeah, the debate. Here are my observations about the debate. Hold on, I'm going to respond to Kitty Tick's comment real quick. All I know is I want the doctors all these detransitioners complain about to show up more in my life. They seem to have had a rush job on some of this stuff, and for me, it is molasses. Honestly, if it takes this long for a consenting adult and has this many guardrails, the kids have even more of those. Yeah, I think that this is part of why I think that most of these newsworthy detrans people are just grifting, especially because people like Kira Bell. The last time I saw Kira Bell had a picture of herself on her Twitter profile that was her with a full beard. So, like, really, you're trying to tell me that you identify as a female, but you're not doing, like, laser hair removal? You're just gonna grow out your beard and, like, fully look like a man and try to tell me that you're a detrans person? It's just like, how stupid do you think we are? Anyway, so my thoughts on the debate. We obviously got to see Trump making a lot of stuff up, as he does. Oh my god, why? Again, every stream that I do, I like shrink down in the chair. So Trump, obviously... Okay, what is the problem? I can't wait to have a standing desk. God, so many of my fucking problems are going to be solved by just not having a sitting desk. I think this is part of why I'm feeling like, you know, the move couldn't be happening sooner. Like, I would love for the move to happen sooner, actually, but I have to wait for my lease to be up. So, the debate. I feel like it is wildly dangerous to give Trump this kind of platform. You know, it's like, did we not learn enough about, you know, giving him a bunch of free advertising And I know a debate is whatever, like it's like part of the decorum. You're supposed to do it, whatever. But the like insane shit that he says, like the fact that there are people who believe him, right? Like there are people who genuinely believe the things that he says, and they were correcting some things live. Like some things, okay, are you serious? Like why? Why are you like this every fucking time? Every time I have to fix this. Every time. And it's still like, it just doesn't, like there's an in-between and it just doesn't want to stay there. Are you still not doing it? Sure, let's try that. So it just feels to me like we're just giving him a huge platform to say insane shit. And sometimes people are not going to believe it, you know? Actually wowed me when he straight up denied the election again like that. Yeah. And the cats and dogs thing, like, oh, these immigrants are eating cats and dogs, these people's pets and everything. I guess I'm kind of glad that he said that on like a national platform, because that's some deep cut Twitter shit. You have to remember that the majority of Americans are not on Twitter. Like the majority of Americans are not out there reading JD Vance's Twitter and like up to date on all the conspiracy theories and stuff. So it just feels to me like that might have been the thing that like took away the most of his credibility. But there are still people like Republican parents and stuff who are like, yeah, he's got good ideas. He seems really knowledgeable. And he like kept bringing up the same points about immigration. Like he just wouldn't stop hammering on it the entire debate. Well, what about, and it was a deflection. Almost every time he brought up immigration, it was a deflection. He would be like, yeah, well, never mind about this thing that you're asking me about, but what about her and her letting in these people? I'm not saying that I was dramatically more impressed by Kamala Harris. Like, she disappointed me for completely different reasons, although they both do the thing where they're asked a direct question and then they deflect or dodge the question. I really wish that the debate moderators were a little bit more harsh when dealing with this issue. You know, what I really would like when I'm watching a presidential debate is if the moderator asks a yes or no question and then the candidate starts to answer with something more than yes or no. I think you should cut the mic and say, excuse me, Mr. President, or excuse me, Madam Vice President, I asked you a yes or no question. Restate the question and then open the mic again. And then if it's anything other than a yes or no question, like a yes or no answer, like I think that they should cut the mic off and be like, okay, so you refuse to give a direct answer. Thank you. And then move on. I also think that they gave Trump way too many opportunities to interject. Yeah, exactly. Gayfesh says, I want the moderators to say, you didn't answer the question in the allotted time. You will get no more speaking time until you answer yes or no, and you will not be allowed follow-up. There was like one time in the debate where they really didn't let one of the candidates say their clarification, and it was fucking Kamala Harris. But every time Trump started talking when his mic was cut, they let him talk. It was insane, actually. The exit focus groups across the board favored Harris. The undecideds didn't like him in this debate. Not sure how anyone can be undecided at this point, but apparently Harris is getting them. Well, she did say, like, what she is trying to do during, and she didn't, whatever, during the debate, she said, you know, if the things that Donald Trump has done are a bridge too far for you, you have a place in our campaign. And what she's doing is she's trying to win Republican fucking votes still. It's like insanely frustrating to me, and it's really kind of angering me because she's like, well, no, I'm not against fracking. I've never been against fracking. And then in the next statement, she's like, I'm fighting for the little guy and I'm fighting for the environment. It's like, no. You can't be pro fracking and pro environment and pro the little guy, because the little guy includes children whose water supply is being poisoned, and it includes rabbits and mice and deer and like wildlife whose environments are being destroyed. You can't be pro-environment and pro-fucking gasoline. Like, so I found her really disappointing. Really. There are so many non-voters on the left she could be bringing in. She will never get Republicans. Right, yeah. I've seen some people, like, there's a Republicans for Harris group starting, and there's like a white men for Harris group starting. Yes, Kamala Harris also supporting Israel, and I will say it was surprising to me that she suggested a two-state solution, that she suggested that Palestine should have sovereignty. But one thing that I noticed is that, so we had a conversation about Israel-Palestine, and then later in the debate, we had a conversation about Ukraine-Russia. And I find it really interesting that this phrase, blank has the right to defend itself, is only used for Israel. Have you all noticed that? Like when there's a conversation about should we be supporting Ukraine in their fight against Russia, we don't use this phrase, Ukraine has a right to defend itself, which furthers my feeling that that phrase is just a dog whistle for like Israel is going to do genocide and we can't stop them or we won't stop them. She's like, we need a ceasefire. And I'm like, no, we need a fucking arms embargo. Yeah, does Gaza have a right to defend itself? Because truly, like, I think that that is the thing that is missed here. Does Palestine have a right to defend itself? Yeah, please fucking kill me if Dick Cheney ever says he supports me. Like, who does she think she's winning over by saying that? Like, I just don't, I'm, whatever. I was just really frustrated by the entire experience, really. And, like, I'm glad that the exit polls are showing that Harris kind of won the popular view of that debate. But I am not impressed by her, and I'm not excited by what she brings to the table. She's going to be better than Trump. If I post this as a segment, and any of you fucking annoying liberals keep saying, well, she's better than Trump, well, we still have to stop Trump, like, duh. Duh. I'm retarded, but not that fucking retarded, okay? I know. I just think that, like, I should be able to expect more from, like, the candidate that I'm being held hostage to. That would be great. Like, with Kamala Harris, like, understand this, y'all. And I have been talking about this a little bit less on my show nowadays than like a few months ago, but we are going to have global food and water shortages within the next 20 to 30 years because climate change is not being stopped. It's accelerating. And unless we have a president who's like, we have to put a complete stop to fossil fuels, period, there's no stopgap. Like, it's just going to happen. So yay, we got a Democrat. We averted fascism when Kamala Harris wins. Cool. But like, she's talking about drilling for more oil in the United States. She's not talking about, I mean, Trump said something pro solar energy, but like, I don't think Kamala said anything pro alternative energy sources. And we would need to switch to alternative energy like 5 years ago to have a meaningful impact at this stage. So like, the issues that are most important to me were not mentioned, or were mentioned in a way that's like, okay, so you're not actually going to do anything to affect that. No discussion of the current huge wave of COVID, no discussion of the increase in disability claims, no discussion of raising the minimum wage. She keeps saying, oh, I'm here for the little guy. I'm here for the little guy. What about the minimum wage, ma'am? It's still $7.25. There is nowhere in this country that you can work. Even if you worked like 60 to 80 hours a week on minimum wage, you could not afford an apartment on your own. Trump was mostly anti-solar, but then he said, but I like solar, inexplicably in the middle of it. Yeah, he did. He was kind of like, it takes up too much land or something. I can't remember what he said. He said it takes too much desert land, which A, nope, and B, it's desert, who cares? He said he likes solar or whatever. But are we going to subsidize putting them on every single house? Are we going to subsidize putting them on every single, like, every corporate building? Are we going to build car parks? He was bemoaning the use of fertile desert soil. Also, when he said something about she's bringing in all these people from these asylums, from these mental illness places. Does he believe that people who are asylum seekers, like who are immigrants for asylum, does he believe that they're coming from insane asylums? So it's kind of nice that we at least have Kamala Harris being like a younger person. She's in her 50s or something. That's why he keeps bringing up Hannibal Lecter. Oh my God. Because like before, when it was Biden versus Trump, everybody was so focused on Biden's like speech impediment and his flubs that he keeps making. But now we have like Trump as compared to someone who is young enough to be his daughter. Excuse me. And yeah, it just seems like it's much more obvious now that Trump is old and losing touch and all that kind of stuff. So I think if nothing else, that was good. But I don't understand the purpose of the debate at this point because I guess the only thing is that there are some people who are still not sure of Kamala Harris. And I genuinely do think that Trump's criticism of her, that she doesn't have a plan, was valid because I haven't looked, but I like have they published a policy platform? He doesn't know the difference between political asylum and a mental asylum, and Harris is smart enough to bait him, let him spiral, and not stop. Yeah. I honestly do think she should have gone for the throat more too. But it's crazy, like, she can't go for the throat about him being like a convicted felon and like suspected of being a pedophile because he'll just turn around and be like, well, you made that stuff up. Oh, something else that I noticed about Trump during this is that he kept accusing her of doing stuff that he has himself has done. Like he weaponized the Department of Justice or whatever, and he would keep accusing her of doing that. Like, oh, you know, you did it. No, you did it. No, you're lying. It was super weird. It's for the undecided moderates, aka the dumbest voters in the country. The debate was all about vibes. My children, members of the Horde, the dragon is here to tell you that every debate is about vibes. It's not about being correct, it's about being convincing, which is why even Kamala Harris can be asked direct questions like, do you feel that you are personally responsible in part for the clusterfuck that was like the US leaving Afghanistan? And for her to just completely circumnavigate the question and not answer it. They do have a platform, at least they did at the DNC. It's the same as last time, except they removed being against the death penalty. Yeah. And we've talked about it before that she, like, previously said she was for Medicare for all. And now she's like, no, I support private insurance. It's just very disappointing overall. But I'm glad that, you know, some people who are like, I'm not sure about voting for a woman, like if they feel a little bit more confident, circumnavigate is when you're Magellan. Okay, my bad. I misspoke. But yeah, if some people are like more likely to vote for her now after this debate, then cool, great. I'm glad. I still found it really irritating. Business interests affecting policy? Gasp. I know. I'm having unsweetened decaf green tea. This is the kind of person that I've become. I'm done talking about the debate now. Here's a fun thing. Um, so this is the human being that I have become within the past year. I'm rapidly changing. I am an archer. I'm interested in hunting. I'm interested in guns. Um, I've gotten more into like being healthy in general. Like I've been exercising for a while, but I'm like really cracking down and like paying attention to my diet. And I'm now the kind of person who makes my own homemade kombucha, apparently. Someone suggested to me that I purchased some tea at the Renaissance Festival, and he was like, "Ooh, this stuff is really good when you make kombucha out of it." And I was like, "What?" And consequently, I tasted kombucha for the very first time. And then I posted about it on Facebook, and one of my friends was like, "I have the yeast bacteria culture that you would need in order to get started if you want it." And I was like, "I guess so." So now I'm a person who makes my own kombucha at home. I just started it yesterday, my first ferment. So I'll tell you in like 2 weeks how it went. Decaf is so gross. Why? First of all, I don't really. What's the difference between decaf and regular tea? I don't know if it's going to taste any different. Um, but green tea is good for not absorbing mercury into your muscles. And I've been eating more fish because it's better for your heart and stuff. But I don't want to absorb a bunch of mercury. So apparently, drinking green tea can help counterbalance that. And I don't like caffeine. So that's why I'm drinking decaf tea. I do see that chat, Neko. I just don't respond to it as much. You also now have a way to make vinegar if you choose to. That's true. Archery is fun. What kind of bow? Is my recurve bow. Right there. Recurve bow. Yeah, I figured it ought to taste the same. Yes, I've got my mother Scoby, my pellicle. I do keep in mind that the money and politics problem realistically limits what Democrats running for office can say on certain issues because lobbyists have their hands tied on economy and foreign affairs more often than Republicans. I mean, are they like what's worse for them, not having as much money for their campaign or like potentially hundreds of thousands of voters who don't like them being right wing? You know what I mean? What pound are you pulling on that one? My partner bought me this as kind of a beginner bow, and it's only 20 pounds. And that's more than enough for hunting rabbits. So that's what I'm gonna do when we get a little bit closer to winter. I've been out like looking for rabbits to shoot a couple of times, but it's not as good in the summer. So we're gonna try in like October, I think, to go rabbit hunting. You gotta have a warm beverage. A warming beverage. RIP rabbits. Yep. It's a good skill to have, and I will save even more money on making dinner. In order to get free information about meta and fallow, I need to ask porn makers on Reddit. No, you don't. Just join like some of the bottom surgery groups on Facebook. I've gotten tons of free information about Meta and Philo, and I didn't need to ask anyone personally, and I definitely didn't need to go specifically to porn makers. It's easier to spot the game trails in the fall, early winter, anyways. Yeah, and like supposedly there's fewer fleas and fewer ticks, which reduces the chance of you getting tularemia. And sunrise is later in the day too. So previously, if sunrise is at 5:30 in the summer, like, am I really gonna get up at 5 o'clock to go hunting? No. Thanks to the Supreme Court that they will do nothing about, Democrats can, quote, try to do policies people want, but not actually worry about upsetting their donors. True. So also another thing about the debate, Kamala accused Donald Trump of, like, he wants things to run on. He doesn't want to solve problems. He wants to run on problems. And I just wanted to stare at her and go, like, excuse me, the party of we'll enshrine Roe v. Wade into law for 50 years and then never fucking did? You're trying to say that Donald Trump wants to run on problems instead of solve them? Okay, sure. 20's great for what you're doing. Don't forget about grouse and pheasant. If I were going to hunt grouse and pheasant, I think I would suck it up and get a shotgun because I don't want to lose all of my arrows shooting into the air. 'Yeah, abortion is the carrot both parties dangle.' And of course, Trump didn't answer the direct question of, like, would you sign a total abortion ban? He's like, I wouldn't have to. We're not going to do that. It's up to the states now. That's what everybody wanted. Like, okay, but in a hypothetical situation, would you? Refuses to answer. Anyway. Whatever. You can hunt pheasant and grouse on the ground. Okay, I'll consider it. I just haven't really considered hunting birds. Although, I mean, yeah, it's still gonna save money. Because right now what I'm doing is I buy, and I don't do this every time, but a lot of the time I buy whole chickens, and then I just butcher like 3 chickens at once. And then, you've got a couple of meals of chicken breasts, like a meal of thighs, a meal of legs, and you've got one meal that's like the chicken soup that I make from the rib meat and otherwise the carcass meat and stuff. Yawn. Oh, God. Okay, am I actually done talking about the debate now? Can I put it in my notes? Am I actually done? Since that's technically a segment for the show. Oh, boy. Today's 9/11. Okay. I did a debate review. I talked about the debate. I've seen grouse in the wild. They look like a feathered ham. Yes, happy 9/11. Thanks to a joke that Bo Burnham made some years ago, the fam and I are planning after the stream to set up 2 towers of Jenga next to each other and, like, play both of them at the same time. It's fucked up, but, you know, we have fun. I'd like to catch a few dozen quail and start harvesting their eggs. Good money in pickled quail eggs. Ooh. The last time I had a pickled egg, I didn't really like it, but I think it may have been the same thing that I always run into when I eat something pickled. I'm expecting it to be like a vinegary dill pickle kind of situation. And then sometimes it turns out that it's actually more of a sweet pickle, and I find that highly disappointing. So maybe I should try. And quail eggs too, they pop like gushers, don't they? Ah, man, except that I don't want to eat soft-boiled eggs right now. Thank you! In a box. I really appreciate that $20 donation. In a box says, here, have some money. I will. I will take that money. And now I have it. Or I will tomorrow morning. Thank you. 25. By the way, do I need to update the stream goal? Like, because typically the thing is if we get to 100, then I will take off my shirt and flex. But, like, I don't know if that's not a good incentive anymore. Should we do something else when we get to the stream goal? I could also set, like, different stream goals. Like, if we get to 100, then I'll do this. And then if we get to 200, I'll do something else. I'm just trying to figure if this is, like, the correct way to go still. We should all just play real life Stardew Valley. I'm trying. Oh, this is a funny one. House of Decline. It's weird how 9/11 became a national holiday. Oh no, that means... What's this? What's this? Oh no, he's on the plane. Oh no. Did something else happen? Oxpecker, thank you for your tier 1 sub. The first 50 seconds of this had me so dead. I'm rewatching it right now. Let me see. Hold on, shush. First 50 seconds. This better be good. I'm kidding. I just got done on a shitposting podcast, so my brain is still kind of in shitposting mode.
LeDron Dreezy James.
Well, I think morality is subjective.
No, shut the hell up, man. I'm older than you. You have to do what I say. LeDron James! You've just been owned by LeDron James!
In his most crazy-ass little bullshit yet.
I think that, your position is quite absurd.
Yeah, but did you ever consider the fact if you shut the hell up and go straight to hell? Oh, own begin by LeDron James!
LeDron James versus some college kids that he found. He paid the college, I think.
If there is a 5-year-old child.
No, I don't believe that 5-year-old children exist. I think those are little guys.
Oh, okay, great. So that's insane.
I think they should get back to work. LeDron James with another ownership of you. Next.
LeDron James versus some college kids yelling at him.
Okay, that's pretty funny. That was enjoyable. Thank you for your tier 1 sub. And for sharing funny video. Funny video. Had to walk away for a bit. Do you like kimchi? Long before COVID and possible MCAS, so have to avoid high histamine foods. I used to love it with soba noodles, sesame oil, and a fried egg on top. Kimchi is great for probiotics. I think I've tried kimchi before. Hit the stream goal, do some archery. Listen, when I have a standing desk, you don't even know. You don't even know. Pick a juicy topic you don't really want to talk about, but chat might. God, that's fair. But yeah. I would like to try to eat kimchi. I'm interested. We have a kimchi-based hot sauce that I really like. I do like the kind of sourness to it. It's yummy. But yeah, Kitty Tick, that's actually kind of similar to what we're doing on the Transatlantic Call-In Show now. If you haven't heard it before, Transatlantic is a call-in show where it's like a skeptic atheist-based show, but we have a specific show where you have 2 trans hosts and you can call in and talk about trans issues. And we have this thing that we do where we try to encourage super chats by having people vote on like which host did you like better. And we've started a new game where the loser of the vote at the end of the show has to defend an indefensible but silly position, like a hot dog is a sandwich, or winter is better than summer, or you must wear socks when you wear sandals, like kind of silly shit like that. So, I guess, yeah, I could pick a juicy topic you don't really want to talk about, but chat might. Yeah, I guess I could let you guys like vote and decide like something that I don't want to talk about. We could do that. It's generally considered impolite to talk about how post-op genitals look unless you yourself are post-op, especially if you're gonna say something about how weird they look. It's generally not considered very polite. Kimchi is a great addition to your stir-fry skills. Ooh, I did make stir-fry for the first time in a long time, and I used miso. And miso is also like a fermented product, although I wonder if it kind of kills some of that probiotic if you put it in like a really hot wok, which is what I did. If I wanted to watch topics you don't want to talk about, I'd be elsewhere. Yeah, fair enough. I'm saying we could do something, it could be something dumb, like maybe if you all are like, do a redo segment on the difference between pansexual and bisexual, or some like dumb fucking discourse that I think is below me. Yeah, saying that like the dicks that result from metoidioplasty kind of look like fingers, I think is not very polite. Hit the stream goal, reveal the contents of the mystery box. I have to create a mystery box. And it turns out the mystery box is just like whatever new toy I've gotten recently that I actually want to show off or whatever. If you could do archery on stream, then any political talking point you make while shooting a bow and arrow would be immediately awesome. I think at that point, if I was doing archery with my videos, I think at that point it would just be, I would be recording videos and doing it that way, as opposed to, because that's what I used to do. I used to like sit down and record videos and then edit them. And part of the reason why I started streaming is because I did not want to keep editing. And then it turns out that you still have to do that. Like I still have to edit. So it's, I might as well, except that it's a revenue stream, it's like I might as well stop streaming and just go back to making regular fucking videos. But yeah, no. If stream hits the goal, Lux has to do a dramatic reading of 50 Shades of Grey and can't visibly cringe at the writing. If it weren't for the fact that that would probably get my channel in trouble for copyright reasons, it would be worth doing. Cooking probiotics doesn't work anymore, but still tastes good. Yeah. If you make miso soup, does that also neutralize it? Like if you put it in hot water? Lux MAGA style shooting commercials would be hilarious. Yes, it would be. I couldn't get into the first sex scene of 50 Shades of Grey because the writing is that bad. I mean, it's fan fiction. I've read fan fiction before. Fan fiction is regularly not that great. My cat is screaming, so I might pick him up and bring him in here and torture him. It might be time to torture him. Miso soup should not be that hot unless you boil the shit out of it. I'm imagining that I would boil the water and then let it cool down slightly and then put it in the miso. Man, I'm just learning all kinds of great stuff about probiotics and how to have healthy gut bacteria and stuff. Apparently drinking kombucha is associated with lower cancer rate, but it might just be because the kind of people who drink kombucha are also doing a lot of other insane shit for their health. Blender emotes in chat. He became quiet, so he's narrowly escaped. Although I kind of need to record a new I kind of need to record a new thingy-mabobber for the stream. Yeah, no. So part of what I'm doing here, Andy's Mints, is you are not part of bottom surgery communities. So I'm informing you, having been in them for a long time, that what you said was not very polite. So your lack of intention of being mean doesn't change that what you said was considered not polite. And I'm telling you that because if you want to get involved in the metoidioplasty and phalloplasty communities, you don't want to say something rude about post-op genitals and then get banned from the groups. So just take the correction and move on. How do you know you're not just repeating pro-Western capitalist propaganda when you're covering the news? How do you make sure your sources are not lying? I mean, you know, you kind of just have to be discerning about every topic, and I try to be reasonably skeptical of every, of like a lot of the things that I'm coming across. It's impossible to be 100% sure. And I think that's part of being anti-capitalist, is being aware that you could still have capitalist beliefs. Just like being anti-racist means that I'm not... You saying JFC makes it seem like you're upset. I'm just informing you that saying that metoidioplasty penises look like fingers is not very polite. The one you had with your cat prior to the current one was a tad cuter. But yeah, no, but being anti-racist is not me saying like, well, I'm not racist and therefore nothing I do is racist. It means like I have to acknowledge that something inside of me could still be biased in a racist manner. And then being able to acknowledge that and say like, okay, yeah, that thing that I believe is racist, and being anti-racist means acknowledging that and trying to work through it. So it's the same with like, yeah, I'm sure that there is pro-capitalist... I mean, we just talked about it recently. I was talking about communes and how I don't want to live on a commune because I'm not willing to give over that much control over like what I want to do. Like, I want to own land. The concept of owning land is a Western one. And I believe that there is probably still going to be an ownership aspect for probably the duration of my life. Even if like the broader scale government kind of collapses, there will still be local governments that will enforce those kind of things. So I do think that, you know, that is a selfishness of mine that is based in this like Western capitalist view of things. And like, if we had a more serious societal collapse, like it's like we're recovering from the zombie apocalypse and there are very few people and there's no centralized government, then yeah, like communal living would make more sense. But for now, yeah, I'm very selfishly like, yes, I want to own my own land. I want to build my own greenhouse. I want to create my own sustainability. And if we want to establish some kind of trade, that's fine. But I don't want to have to like vote on things like, where am I going to build my greenhouse, or what kind of fence am I going to put up, or whatever. Like, you know, I am very selfish about that. Neko, thank you for Googling. It says, as a general rule, when probiotic cultures are subjected to temperatures of 100 to 120 degrees F and above, they start to die off. It's the reason that fermented foods such as kimchi, sauerkraut, and miso, marketed as containing live beneficial bacteria, can't be exposed to high heat during the cooking process. Okay, so I could have like a warm miso soup and still benefit from the probiotics. Jihariel helpfully points out there is a difference between saying, you were rude and I think you're bad for it, and saying, people could think what you said was rude/mean, so maybe stop. Yeah. And like, I have made jokes that I now am like, okay, that was inappropriate of me. As somebody who has not had bottom surgery, I should not make a joke about post-op genitals. You know, it's just one of those like kind of sensitive intra-community things. Kitty says, it is weird because I want to tell people this is how we have to live and only say that. But it's like I'm raising children right now and I'm raising them to not support the capitalist system more than is needed. But I also have to teach them how to live inside of it because there is no current future without it for a long time. Yeah, for sure. Let they who haven't said insensitive jokes in the past cast the first stone. Absolutely. Gonna start a cult. All I have to do is get buffer and learn some hypnosis skills. That is a lot of fun. Ooh. I've been wanting to post on Fansly more, but it's really difficult to want to post on Fansly when I've been like literally just trying to lose 5 pounds and have been fucking stuck unable to lose 5 pounds for the past 2 months. And also, again, with the like being bloated and constantly bleeding because of the fucking IUD implant, or not the IUD, the Nexplanon implant. It's just like, I don't feel very sexy. It's very hard to post sexy pictures when you're like, I just don't feel very sexy. Ugh. See, Andes, you're still really upset about this. You're saying, I wasn't throwing a joke at Metadix. I was making an observation. I'm sorry if that makes you offended. I was just taking it at face value. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the comment was not polite. I'm not offended. It's that I have been in bottom surgery communities. I've been around these discussions, and saying like, oh, your dick looks like this, or meta dicks all look like this, or whatever, is considered impolite. So take the correction and move the fuck on, because I'm starting to get annoyed now. You're taking this really personally. You said something impolite. Take the correction. Don't be weird in my chat about bottom surgery. Take the correction and move on. You know what doesn't show that you're bloated? Feet. True. True. Kimchi, cold kimchi noodles. Ooh. That does sound refreshing. There's healthy solutions and unhealthy solutions to the weight issue, and the unhealthy solutions involve a trip to the C-store. Listen, I'm being so good. And like, it's also coinciding with me having to make dietary changes for my cholesterol. So, you know, I'm eating more oats and more leafy greens and trying to get a lot of fiber. So healthy. OMG. Probiotics. I will need to torture my cat at some point during this stream. He's nowhere near me right now. He's somewhere else. What even is this video you sent me? It has nothing in the description about what it is. I don't think I had any retweets that I wanted to talk about this week. Oh yeah, we should talk about Taylor Swift and Elon Musk. I think that that's probably worthy of a segment this week. Has anyone tried natto? It's supposed to be super healthy, but looks very strange. How does it taste? What is natto? I feel like I've seen this before. Natto. Natto. Oh, this weird slimy shit. No, I've never had it. I don't think I could eat it. It's made from whole soybeans, which have been fermented with Bacillus subtilis. variation natto. Oh no. Clip chipped. Luxander tortures cats. I know. Yeah, I'm allowed to torture my cat. I like the earrings. Oh yeah, I forgot that I put these in. I want to wear at least one rainbow earring at the Renaissance Festival in the hopes that girls will flirt with me. So Luxander kept streaming, unaware that a cult was brewing in chat. Mama Mephistopheles has been trying to start a cult for a long time, so if you guys do start doing that, I'm not going to be surprised. I could not focus on what you were saying because work was calling me. Yeah, so I was just saying, like, it doesn't matter whether you intended to be rude. You did not offend me when you said that meta dicks look like fingers. It's just impolite. And I've been a part of the bottom surgery communities for like 5+ years now. So I'm just informing you that if you want to become part of those communities and do research in those spaces, that you should not make comments like that. I'm not personally offended. I'm just letting you know. Oh, yeah, natto is so gross looking. And I've seen people try to eat it too. I've seen like videos of people trying to eat it and it's just bleh. Yes, there are rival cults in my community. The power struggle. By the way, if you have not yet hit the like button, hit the like button, babes. We've only got like 2 hours of the stream left. Booger beans, yes. I'm gonna do spiritual rituals that are just group erotic hypnosis sessions. Yeah, no worries, Andes. Just letting you know. Because I too have made jokes that I should not have made about post-op bodies. Elon Musk. Okay, I need to find the post. Where's the post of Taylor Swift endorsement? Was it like on Instagram or something? I've been interested in hunting recently. Do you have a bow recommendation for beginners? Mainly looking to hunt small game. So this bow is like the cheapest kind of nice bow that you can get. And the brand is Monarch. And I think that the specific type is Fleetwood, maybe. Yeah, so fleetwoodarchery.com is the website. And yeah, this is a 20-pound bow, so it could be useful for small game. It's, it's nice. It's cute. It was like $150 or something. So that was my birthday present this year. Okay, now it's back where it goes. It was on her Instagram. Okay, sorry. I thought so. Where's the post? Girl, can you just link me to the fucking Instagram post? Jesus Christ. Okay, can you get off of my screen? Why is there a giant ad on my screen? Go away. Just let me see the post. We chatted about the debate right at the top of the stream, Holly. I'm not gonna rewind and go over it again today. Still taking suggestions on what we should do if we hit the stream goal of $100 donations. I'm only streaming once a week right now, guys, so I think technically I should increase the goal to like 200 because before I was streaming twice a week and now it's only once. I'm trying to move. Oh, you know what's really fucking rich? Okay, so this weekend, so I'm saving all the money from the GoFundMe. It's in my savings account. I'm not using it. And I'm trying to save up some of my own money, right? I'm doing Fansly, I'm doing Takis, I'm making sure that I'm getting enough content to keep posting, even though I'm only streaming once a week right now. I'm also going to be saving the money that I make at Renaissance Festival. And this weekend, I started my car on Saturday, and it wouldn't fucking start. Guess what? I had to replace my car battery, which was $260. And earlier this summer, I also had to replace all 4 of my tires and get my alignment fixed. And while they were removing my tires, they stripped one of my lug posts, and so I had to pay to replace that. So that was $800. So yeah, I'm trying to save money, and yet I keep having like fucking expenses. So donations directly to the website will be appreciated right now because I'm having to use my credit card to buy groceries. Yeah, remember the days when it only cost like $60 to get a battery change? Mm-hmm. And that was just me buying the battery. My partner changed my battery for me. Hit the stream goal, complete the rest of stream wearing a hat of our choice. Yeah, I do have... Oh, it was like $800 for the whole thing, all of my tires and everything. Yeah, everyone, I'm starting to feel good about my financial situation. Their car, ready to come get you. But I used to have more fun hats than I do now. I got rid of some of my fun hats. Yeah, changing the battery is super easy. Wearing a MAGA cap? No, thank you. Hit the stream goal. Truth or dare? Sure. Each $100 is 1 extra hour. Yeah, if I get to $100, I'll stream for an additional hour. I was supposed to spend time with my family tonight, but fuck them. Looking forward to Takis tomorrow. Me too, I love Takis. I would love to get to 69 likes. And $100 in donations. I'm not pushing the GoFundMe as much because I would rather just make money that I can actually spend instead of money that I'm like, oh my god, I need to put that away. I'm going to drink some more tea. And then we're going to talk about Taylor Swift. Real Chads on their Sigma grind set don't have time for families. I'm trying to be better about it. You are home. This is your family. You can never go back. Oh no. That feels... It's like a parasocial hostage situation. Yeah, cars are too expensive. But... I do like being able to get places and buy large amounts of groceries. That's like one of my favorite things. Oh my god, I accidentally clicked on Duolingo the other day and now it thinks it's appropriate to send me daily reminders. Um, okay, we don't usually talk about Taylor Swift on this channel, and it, like, I don't, she's obviously culturally relevant, but it's like, okay, cool. She has a white feminism thing going on, great. She's dating a footballer, and it's hilarious to me that right wingers hate on her so much because she is like a pop country singer who's white and blonde, and she's dating a football player from Kansas City. And like, as a heterosexual couple, they should be like, they should be the Republicans' favorite thing. And yet they're so mad at her. I think it's because she's like an independently wealthy woman. So they're just like always going to be mad at her for that kind of thing. But anyway, so it's relevant to the political situation more broadly, because if she endorses one candidate or another, obviously she is a highly popular influencer. She has tons and tons of fans. So if she comes out and straight up says, I'm going to vote for so and so, she doesn't even have to tell her audience, and I also think you should. She's just going to lead by example, right? So we did get that endorsement, and this is not the main part of the story. I want to talk about one of the responses to her endorsement. So the main story is like afterwards, and it may or may not be in the title of the video. But yeah, so let's look at the Instagram post. She posts her and a picture of her cat, who is super fluffy and adorable, actually. She makes them think about sin, therefore they cannot like her. That's true. So Taylor Swift says, like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ+ rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research, and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I will link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady. And I do appreciate that she's kind of embracing that criticism, because it's one of the ways that people try to discredit her by saying like, well, whatever, you're just a childless cat lady, invoking the image of like, I mean, it's honestly like a historical image, right? Of the spinster. Thank you very much for the $5 dono, Neko Damien. Hi, Lux, it's not much, but hoping I can contribute more in the future. Heart. Thank you. No, I really appreciate every $5 makes a difference. That's like several bunches of bananas, that I'm probably going to buy with that $5. So thank you. Yeah, so yeah, they created some AI image of her or something, and Trump said like, "Oh, look at this, I got the Taylor Swift endorsement." So now she's being very clear. Right after the debate, she posted this. Yeah, she's claiming the title of childless cat lady, which I do appreciate as a person who technically sort of has adopted, but I haven't had my own kid, and I do have a cat. So yes. So, but the main reason I wanted to talk about this is because one of the responses to this came from Elon. Now, of course, all the Republicans are mad. And like, Elon Musk can't even vote in our elections because he is not American, right? Like, or has he gotten his citizenship? But anyway, he's like from South Africa. Yeah, when someone is insulting you by basically just calling you non-traditional, it eventually becomes a compliment. Yeah, for sure. Can I see the actual tweet? Can I find the actual tweet instead of just the quote? So first of all, I want to say this is not the tweet that I planned on talking about, but he says Toxoplasma gondii is a danger to our democracy. So he's basically saying that toxoplasmosis from cleaning cats' litter boxes is like causing brain damage and it's a danger to our democracy. Fascinating. Um, did he actually delete the tweet? No, he didn't. Okay, I found it. So, okay, the actual thing that I wanted to talk about here is that Elon Musk tweeted, "Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life." So, it's kind of hard to put into words what is wrong with this. I will give you a child. And this is in response to her endorsing Kamala Harris. Basically, what is happening here is Moira Donegan posted this and said, he's sexualizing her as a form of degradation and punishment for her endorsement of Harris. It is retaliatory sexual harassment. And I agree. Like, I'm not sure what else to call this. Like, this is sexual harassment. This is saying, I will have sex with you and impregnate you and guard your cats with my life. And for what is this, like him trying to persuade her somehow to not endorse Kamala Harris? Like, is this his way of trying to be like, oh, baby, I'll provide for you? Like, girl, she has more money than you, I'm pretty sure. Didn't even offer her a horse. Yeah. And it's kind of a way of like, so it's threatening for sure. It's bringing like sex into it. And like, that's a way that men always exert power over women by being like, yeah, well, you're nothing more than a fuckhole. Like, you're nothing more than a baby maker. Like, it's gross on so many levels. She should sue for sexual harassment, honestly. And yeah, he's 20 years older than her. And it plays on so many of the historical notions that, oh, why don't you just, you don't worry your pretty little head about it. Why don't you close that pretty little mouth until I tell you what to do with it or whatever. That like a woman exerting her power, being independent and speaking her mind and getting politically involved, that those are all things to be infantilized. You pat her on the head and you send her back to the kitchen. Or, yeah, you make one of those comments that's like, don't open your mouth unless I'm putting something in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's sexual harassment. It's like, yeah, it's retaliation. It's punishment for her using her platform to endorse the candidate that Elon Musk doesn't like. A lot of Elon's money is fake and in holdings. He has more fake money than her, but she has more paper. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so much of his wealth is like predicated on the hypothetical value of his company, as opposed to she just makes a shit ton of money from working. Like she's a working woman. She does not need help. And yeah, like, I don't think it would be unreasonable for her to sue for sexual harassment, although I'm not sure how much would come from it. There's a reason she posted it on Instagram and not Twitter. Yeah, I mean, Musk was just saying again recently that he wants to remove the block and mute functions on Twitter. That would make the platform unfucking usable. Unusable. His money's fake like Trump's. Yeah. Let him ruin some other planet. Send this man to Mars already. I did also see him posting about, like, going to Mars or whatever. I doubt she keeps all that cash liquid, though. I'm sure she has investments. Sure, yeah. But, like, I think that her money is, like, the investments that she's made are probably more tangible than, like, the hypothetical value of Tesla stocks. I don't know. But regardless, she does not need someone like Elon Musk to be like, I'll give you a child and guard your cats with my life. She does not need it. Removing block and mute is illegal in the US IIRC. I'm not sure if it's illegal in the US, but I know that it's illegal in Europe. So it's like, do you want to just make your app not usable in Europe anymore? Like those are, and I think that it may also be the case that it's required for the Apple Store, like that you would not be able to host it on the Apple Store anymore. He'll give her a child that will disown him when they're 16. Right. Some of the people in the comments are like, here in the comments of this tweet, babe, try looking after the child you already have who hates you. Look after your own kid, bro. Weirdo. So those were some of the comments that I thought were like the zingers. And of course, some of the other comments on this other tweet are like, one way you know these guys don't actually respect motherhood is that they bring it up as a threat to women. It's not just disrespectful, it's deeply harmful and unacceptable in any discourse. Anyway. Musk has already lost Brazil. He's on his way to losing Europe. True. The Google Play and Apple Store require block and mute functions. So he's just trying to ruin. F? No? Did the stream go? It's still showing that it's good for me. YouTube is not maintaining enough video. I mean, it's not totally dead. It's really frustrating. And you know, it's part of the thing that's so frustrating about figuring out the move is that I have no idea what the internet situation is going to be like when I move. Lagging a lot though? Yeah. Thank you for telling me that. I don't have any control over it, but thank you for telling me. Like, I already basically, like, we pay for the best internet that is possible for us to get. So there's only so much I can do. Yeah, I see what you mean though. It's a little bit slow. Fingers crossed that I'm able to get halfway decent internet when I move. I'm not a huge Swift fan, but I think she's pretty helpful politically. And as a person who is assigned female who loves cats, men who make those threats scare me. Right. Of course, he could not ever actually do anything, but it's like the fact that he thinks he can exert that. Like, that's the problem. The fact that he thinks that he can exert that kind of control. Even just saying, oh yeah, I'll give you a child, you know? It's very chauvinistic, as the kids say. Okay, is there anything else that we can add, or should I just put that in my notes now? I think I can put it in my notes now. T-Swift endorsement, Musk harassment. Cool, we did it. We're so close to getting 69 likes, you guys. 69! If we get to the stream goal, I'll take off my hoodie and flex. It's giving I feel so Sigma. True. I thought chauvinism was old feminist language from Victorian times. I was kind of being silly when I said that's, as the kids call it. That was me being silly. That was me being a goober. A goofy goober. A goose, if you will. Okay, what was going on? I got a Discord notification earlier. Okay. Cool. In a box. Thank you for the $20 dono. It says, I will find out what's in that mystery box. I do have a little chest. And I could put something in the chest and be like, oh, here's a different thing every stream. Are we going to find out what's in the chest? That would be so fucking silly, but honestly, it would probably work. And remember, if we get to the dono goal, I'll show you what's in the mystery box. You know, I did see that, Mama, on your Twitter. Mama says, speaking of 69s, if I can brag for a moment, I am capable of doing a standing 69 with anyone up to 200 pounds. High five. That's very exciting. More tea. We're at 70 likes. High five. Can we recover from the stream dying? Because now we're at only 51 viewers. We dropped viewers when the stream connection got fucking borked. What's in the chest? A xenomorph. That would be a fun joke. I mean, it's like, do I look, or does it just cross my timeline because I followed you on one of your accounts? On Twitter, it doesn't censor it. On Blue Sky, I would actually have to click through. What's in the mystery box this week? Surprise, it's Marxism. Yeah, I could put like a copy of the Communist Manifesto in the box. This week, it's... How big is the chest? So I have two different boxes, actually. I mean, actually, they're right behind me, but I'm not going to get up and grab them. I have one box that's about this big, and it has all of my makeup in it. It's about that tall and about that big. And then I have another box that's like this big, and then like this big, and then like this big. Which has some of my holiday decorations in it. No, it does not censor it on Twitter. I can take off my pants to attract more viewers. Never mind, I'm doing it anyway. I guess I could titillate you by being like, well, I'm not wearing pants, but I am wearing pants, so sorry to disappoint anybody. This week, the box was a mimic. It ate the party. I quit my D&D game. I'm so old. I quit my D&D game because it's too late in the day for me to start a campaign at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. A bust of Karl Marx is in there. Listen, I have a 3D printer. I could 3D print anything to put in the fucking box. Wouldn't it be fun? I think I'm going to reduce the exposure a little bit on my camera, because it just seems really bright. Can we bring the exposure down a little bit? No, that seems like it's not doing what I want it to do. Oh no, actually that's better. Cool. Yeah, that's a little bit more human looking. You can't stay up till 10. I guess you're a farmer now. Listen, okay, so if the call starts at 8, the game doesn't start until 8:30, and there are 6 people in that party. That's so many people. So it's impossible to play a fucking game in an hour and a half. It always has to go later than that. I've sat in on a lot of sessions when I was in high school, but I only played one campaign in my 30s, and it ended after 2 sessions because the DM couldn't continue. Yeah, that's the trouble, is, you know, getting 5 or 6 people on the same schedule. And all these people are in their early 20s, early to mid 20s, so they're like, I have a million things I have to do every week, so I'm only available certain times. Like, if you're going to do a D&D campaign, you need to have like at least 4 solid waking hours to do everything. Like Saturday afternoon, Sunday evening, right? That's reasonable. 6 is maximum. That's understandable. So many long turns. And this was like a it's a Stardew Valley based one, so it requires a lot of talking to characters in the game, which is just, God, it just takes forever. And the game was clearly going in a type of direction that was like, we're not going to be able to do combat really for a while. So yeah, just a lot of things made it better for me to quit. I think my partner has given me the Rona sad face. If you put up a Corsi Rosenthal filter, it'll at least prevent you from breathing more of the virus in. Get a xylitol nasal spray, CPC mouthwash, probiotic Streptococcus salivarius K12, and that will reduce your viral load and help you get over it faster. If you can get Paxlovid, that would also be great. But you can do all those other things without a prescription, and it'll help you get over it sooner, hypothetically, or at least kind of help buttress you against severe illness by reducing your viral load. Oh yeah, where is that link about the bird flu? I found it. How do you spell most of those things? There, I typed it out for you. Ugh. Yawn. Yawn. We have some spooky bird flu news today. Wow, it's been a minute since I talked about bird flu because it seemed like maybe it was starting to chill out. I saw some new evidence that pasteurization does in fact make milk and milk products safe enough to drink, that there might be, particulate parts of bird flu virus, but like no full complete virus that is active and able to infect you. You still should be careful with eggs. Make sure you're washing your hands very thoroughly after handling eggs and after handling raw chicken and any raw meat, really, and cook your eggs all the way through. Rest in peace, all of you out there who love soft-boiled eggs. I know I'm a part of the sad soft-boiled eggs party. But yeah, so sad. I have more bird flu news. Okay? Because right now, there's a case in Missouri, which was, this was just posted last week as of recording this. CDC has confirmed a human case of avian flu, bird flu, reported by the state of Missouri. Now, there have been several other cases of bird flu reported in humans, but it is typically from people who are working directly with the animals that are sick, So we're having some illness that could be transferred by being exposed to the fecal matter of sick animals, but that's like pretty much it. And there's only been like 14 cases, I think, in the US of that. This case is out of the ordinary because this is not a person who works with animals. So the case was identified through the state's seasonal flu surveillance system. Specimen forwarded it to CDC for confirmatory testing per usual protocols and has been confirmed. Missouri DHSS reports that the patient, who was hospitalized, had underlying medical conditions, was treated with influenza antiviral medications, subsequently discharged, and has recovered. There is no immediate known animal exposure and no ongoing transmission among close contacts or otherwise identified in this case. So this is the 14th case for a human having H5N1. That's right, H5N1? I think it's H5N1. Reported in the United States during 2024, and the first case of H5 without a known occupational exposure to sick or infected animals. H5 outbreaks in cattle have not been reported in Missouri, but outbreaks of H5 have been reported in commercial and backyard poultry flocks in 2024. H5N1 bird flu has been detected in wild birds in that state in the past. Other novel flu cases have been detected through the country's national flu surveillance system, but this is the first time that system has detected a case of H5. Targeted H5 outbreak-specific surveillance has been conducted as part of ongoing animal outbreaks and has identified all the other cases. In this case, the specimen from the patient originally tested positive for flu A, but negative for seasonal flu A virus subtypes, and that finding triggers additional testing. So this says, it is important to note that while rare, there have been novel influenza A cases where an animal source cannot be identified. The main concern in these situations is that no onward transmission is occurring. Findings from the ongoing investigation will inform whether guidance changes are needed. So this is basically to say that you do need to still be very careful with food. Make sure you're cleaning your kitchen. Don't try to wash off your chicken before you cook it. I know that that's like a thing that some families do. Don't wash your chicken like in the sink, because you're just spraying salmonella water and potentially bird flu water all over your kitchen. Don't do that. Just cook it. Cooking it kills all the bacteria on it. You don't need to wash your chicken. Any raw meat, don't wash it. It's super weird. But yeah, so part of what we're looking for with bird flu, or I guess I should say, part of what we are afraid of finding with bird flu is, for now, we have pretty much only recorded animal to human transfer. People who work with the animals, who are up close and personal with them, having exposure to their breath and their fecal matter and all this, and like especially aerosolized fecal matter from cleaning the floors of these places with power washers. But what we're afraid of happening is human to human contact transfer, because then we're dealing with another COVID level pandemic of this like super deadly illness. Because yeah, as of right now, the virus has not mutated to like me breathe it out and you breathe it in and you get sick. Eric in the YouTube chat says, "Oh God, I had bird flu in the 2000s. It's so serious. And if I remember correctly, it's worse in adults. Mind you, back then it was a full-blown outbreak, although did get swine flu as well, separately from a pig. Oh my God, no, that's crazy." Yes, a bird flew? It flew? Hardly sounds like news. I know. So I think this just confirms that we should still be acting with caution. Not only is COVID still running rampant, we're in a giant summer wave right now. And the new vaccine, if you don't have insurance, costs $200, as my partner found out at the pharmacy. We've got bird flu that could potentially break out into human-to-human transmission. And we've got Mpox, which is not only transmissible by touch, but is also apparently airborne. So continue to wear masks, as high a quality a mask as you can afford. You don't necessarily have to, if you get like nice N95s or P100s, you don't have to necessarily discard those after every use. I would say if you go to a giant event with that mask on, or if you go to the hospital with that mask on, you maybe want to throw it out after that use. But if you're just using it to go to the grocery store, I will reuse a grocery store mask for like a week or two. So buy the best masks that you can get a hold of. Yes, xylitol is poisonous for pets, but it's there's a nasal spray you can get, so you're just putting the nasal spray in your own face and it shouldn't affect your pets at all. Mouthwashes with active ingredient CPC can kill all of everything that's living in your mouth. And then using probiotic S. salivarius K12, which you can buy on Amazon. All of these things are super easily accessible. The nasal spray and the mouthwash you can get from any grocery store, like any grocery store that carries shampoo and stuff. And the probiotic you can get on Amazon. And those things all reduce your viral load if you get sick, which stands to reason that they also can prevent you from getting sick by like being hostile to any COVID or anything else that enters your nasal cavities and tries to get into your mucous membranes. Oh, fun. Also, apparently if you have had the smallpox vaccine, you have some protection from Mpox. There is also an Mpox vaccine, although it is harder to get a hold of. Yes, as of recording this stream, it's 9/11, and Mama says, on this 9/11, make sure to remember the 3,000 lives lost to a terrorist attack and forget the millions of lives lost to the pandemic because public health isn't profitable, right? I don't actually know if I have COVID. I'm testing negative, but I feel awful. Well, whatever you're sick with, all of the things that I've recommended can help, because all of the things that I recommended are like hostile to viruses. So whatever viral illness you have, even if what you have is the common cold or RSV or whatever, all of these things should still be helpful to you. I agree, Neko. Yeah, kitchen sinks are some of the dirtiest surfaces in the house, and also seeing how people are treating COVID with people, yeah, passing mask bans and the general idiocy around this. If bird flu starts spreading human to human, we're cooked. Listen, y'all who don't wear masks are cooked, okay? I'm gonna continue not getting sick. I use mouthwashes, but xylitol and K12 are expensive. Well, you don't have to take the probiotic every day. You're just starting a culture in your mouth and then like feeding it periodically, like any probiotic thing. Like I'm a person who I have now become a person who makes my own homemade kombucha. You don't have to like feed it every day. You have the culture and then you feed it like once a week, right? So you could take the K12 like once a week. The xylitol nasal spray, the last time I bought some, it was like $7. And I can assure you that being out of work from your COVID illness and then permanently out of work from your long COVID is going to be more expensive. So, like, I would say cut out whatever you have to cut out in your budget to make room for these protective measures. I actually have my nasal spray right here. I've been using it once a day, basically, since I have an event that I go to on the weekends that's outdoors and I can't wear a mask because it's too hot. So I'm doing a bunch of other stuff to prevent myself from getting sick. Yes, and this is a good point, and I will end this segment on this point. Uh, in a box, if you think you might have COVID, then you should try to rest as much as humanly possible, not only during your illness, but also for like 6 weeks after you recover. Because if you try to push yourself, like if you try to exercise or if you go to work and you exert yourself a lot, I'm not saying you can't go back to work for 6 weeks, but like rest way more than you feel is reasonable, radical rest, to prevent you from having those long-term complications. Yeah, like last time I had COVID, cardio was hell afterwards. Yeah, for sure. Okay, we did another segment. I did it. Nope, that's the wrong thing. I need my stream notes. Bird flu. Stream notes. You're not my dad. Well, I am your dragon, and dragons are much more influential than dads. Might have to get more water at some point. I still have a little bit of water. Tea. Yum. You know, it's great drinking decaf products because it doesn't make me have to pee. So it is actually hydrating and it's not a diuretic to drink decaf tea and drink decaf coffee. Okay, we could potentially have 2 more segments, but maybe I only want to do one of them. I don't know. The plan still is if we hit the dono goal for donations, I'm still planning on just taking off my hoodie and flexing. But if we have a lot of suggestions to do something else at the end, when we hit the stream goal, we could do something else. Because we're currently at like $55. We only need $45 more. And I'll flex, or we can play truth or dare, or I'll do something silly. I don't know. Whatever. We've got options. I've heard good things about the Dragons of Pern. I've definitely heard good stuff. In a box. Thank you for the $20 dono. Says thank you for the recommendations. Yes. I guess I should post in the Discord sometime like, hey, here's all the things that you can do to prevent yourself from getting sick. Did I say, hey, Hordes, get in here? Yes, I did. Okay, I did do that. How would you play Truth or Dare? I would just ask Truth or Dare, and then you all would, like, or I would say, okay, a truth, and then you all would put a bunch of questions, and then I would just pick one. I don't know, I guess that's how it would work. I'm just, In a Box suggested that earlier. I've not been watching live lately. I'm trying to catch up dono-wise. Listen, it's very appreciated, and that means we only have 70... We have $75, which means we only need 25 more to get to the goal. Once I get paid, I'll get a hoodie. I need one of your hoodies. They're so great. They're so comfy. I love them. They're good. Herbal tea is good. Ginger tea tastes especially good. So I, no worries in a box. You're good. So I started my kombucha, and it's like only a half gallon. And of course, I'm going to have to keep some of that. Like I can't pour all of that out, but I did get some bottles, and I'm going to make like either 2 or 3 different flavors. And I was thinking of doing one of them with ginger. What else would I put in there? Like, do you think ginger and honey would be a good combination for the booch? Ginger and honey. And I think for one of them, I was going to do like mixed fruit, because I have frozen fruit, and it's like raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, that kind of thing. So I was going to do one of them that flavor. And then I have one more. Like I probably will have enough liquid to do a third one. And basically kombucha is just fermented tea. So it is tea, but carbonated and fermented. Strawberry estrogen, welcome in. Wild berries would taste good IMO, or just any kind of berries. Yeah. Yeah, I figured. And from the garden, I am going to harvest some basil and some sage. I did just harvest some thyme. I feel like I should have made a video for the alternate channel, and maybe I'll do it for this. Like, I'll make a short video going like, here, I'm harvesting all of the basil, and I'm dehydrating it, and, like, crushing it up, and, like, there's my finished product. Because I harvested my thyme plant, and I pulled, like, all of the shit off of there, and then I dehydrated everything. Ginger and peaches. Okay. I have been really into eating fresh peaches lately. If you want to start with a lighter series, start with the Master Harper of Pern series. It's 4 books, and they will never stop being some of my favorite ones. Yeah, I did just finish my fiction book that I've been reading at night before bed, and my plan is, actually, I started reading, I'm continuing to read, but I'm making specific time to read now, The Conquest of Bread by Peter Kropotkin, so, like, anarchist reading before bedtime. And then when I finished that, I was planning on just, like, starting to make my way through my giant, the Encyclopedia of Country Living or whatever. Just because I need to do, I'm like trying to get off the screen before bedtime. So I'm like, okay, let me just read a physical book. I have literally too many blackberries. The weed problem is real, but so delicious. You could make blackberry wine, blackberry jam. You could ferment with the booch. You could make a blackberry, I think technically, yeah, you could make a blackberry mead as well as blackberry wine. I have a peach tree on my property right next to the house. I've been picking and eating peaches recently. Oh my god, that sounds incredible. I would love to have a stone fruit tree. You know, one of those ones where they graft a bunch of different branches on. Because then basically any stone fruit, you could have like cherries and peaches and probably other stone fruits. What even are the stone fruits? I forget any of the rest of them right now. Nectarines. Reading nonfiction so good for you. I know. I'm transitioning away from nonfiction right now. Or sorry, I'm transitioning away from fiction onto nonfiction. Make a black briar mead and become the most feared family in Riften. High five. It took about 15 years for the peach tree to mature. You have to. I said cherries. You do have to wait a long time for any tree to mature. Stone fruits. What are all the stone fruits? Peaches, plums. Oh, man, plums are good. Cherries, nectarines, apricots, mangoes. I don't like mango. I wish I did. I keep trying. Lychee. Raspberries are a stone fruit. Fascinating. But I don't think you could put it on a tree. Blackberry is also a stone fruit, so are mulberries. Olives apparently are a type of stone fruit. Coconuts, dates. The hybrids, such as pluots, plumcots, and apriums. Okay, cool. Yummy, yummy. But basically with booch, you want to use, like, fresh or frozen fruit. Yeah, one pit seed. Yeah, I didn't think that raspberries and blackberries could go on a tree. You know what I would really love to do is if I owned a house, I would love to plant blackberries or raspberries next to the windows as like a home defense thing. Like, yeah, try climbing in this window. Good luck. Because they're thorny, right? As brambles. Do blackberries have thorns? Yeah. Blackberry canes are thick and angled with intimidating horns. Yeah, try to climb in my window. Good fucking luck. Booch sounds like a dirty word even though it's not. It does. Do not plant blackberries. I know they spread, right? I could put it in a giant pot, I guess. But then they could move it. Raspberries are not a stone fruit, and neither are blackberries. Stone fruits contain only one seed in the center of the fruit, such as avocados. Hey, actually, did you know that on a raspberry, each individual little nodule is its own fruit with its own seed inside, with one seed inside? Like, it's a whole fruit body, but actually each little packet on a raspberry is one fruit. It's like Diet Kudzu. There were blackberry bushes surrounding my elementary school playground area in Washington. They told us not to eat them, but we all did anyway. Yep. What if you put something built on the house, like a window planter? Yes, they would have to rip it off. And the issue is that they grow sideways and then down. So I don't actually even know if putting it in a pot would help, because it grows sideways and then roots down. Yeah, if raspberries had faces, each little nodule would have its own face. They are pretty adorable. It's Fruit Facts Wednesday. The blackberries we have are Himalayan, and the canes can get as thick as my wrist. Nearly impossible to kill. You have to suffocate it out. I bet if you, like, covered it in salt, that would do something. if you like drilled holes in it and then put heavily salted water inside, just suck all the moisture out. Just salt it. What are you, a Winchester? Yes, I am the fourth Winchester? I've never watched the show, actually. I don't see the problem. They have good fruit and they spite trespassers and guests. I mean, the problem is that it's hard to grow anything else if your blackberries are taking over the yard. In order to reclaim our backyard from blackberries, we literally had to hire a guy to resoil the backyard. He rented big equipment for it and everything. So you had to like really dig down and get it out of there. Vinegar and ascorbic acid after about 5 to 7 applications will kill blackberries. Yeah. I wonder if you like surrounded the blackberries with stone or something that they couldn't, like, would it stop them from rooting down? We literally replaced the entire soil. Oh no. Maybe roses. Okay, maybe I'll plant roses outside my windows. And then we'll still have all the impact of thorns, but no. What are thorny plants? Hold on, let me look up. Like, oh no, I didn't mean to close that. Come back. Their roots go sideways. Oh, so they'll just go down in the ground and then pop up like a rhizome. That's fun. Plants with thorns. Because, like, the roses, you know, there's no fruit. I like that there's flowers, but there's no fruit. Bougainvillea, rose, Japanese quince, Mimosa borealis, blackthorn, because that also will provide berries, the blackthorn. Anyway, there's lots of plants with thorns, apparently. Anyway, those are dreams that'll be... I'll work on those in a few years. Mimosa borealis sounds like a kitschy brunch place's signature drink. That's just a mimosa with blueberries in it. I mean, that would be delicious. Oh my god. What's your favorite fruit? Probably raspberry. I do like ripe pears, and I've been enjoying ripe peaches recently, but I think my favorite is raspberry. A random twinge in my back. Drinking the last water that I have. Cheers. Yummy, yummy. Excuse me. I'm kind of trying to decide what the next segment is. Hmm. I think maybe I might have to grab some water before I start talking about another thing. Because I do still technically have like 2 things that I could talk about. We did 3 already. Which I have 1 video ready to go up tomorrow. So I need one for... yeah, I need to do at least 1 more. 2 more would probably not go amiss. Is quiet? I know, I'm way back here. I'm like more than a foot away from my microphone. I was thinking to myself. But I did change settings on the gate recently, so it's not terribly surprising that if I'm not right here, it won't activate. But yeah, I was just trying to decide, like, how many segments do I have prepped and ready for next week? I said, is quiet right before you started talking again? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm like, you know, I think that people like Demon Mama do a much better job than I do of pausing and taking a minute to, like, read chat and think and rest your voice before saying something. I'm terrible at that. I feel this urge to fill all of the quiet space. Thinking, do you want to be in my cult or not? Well, I have to be in my own cult. I have to be my own cult leader. I'm sorry, Mama. We can be co-cults, but I can't be a follower. Oh my god, I love Egg in a Basket. It's so good. The channel has been doing a little bit less good recently, but that tends to happen when I'm, like, not posting a couple days of the week. I've gotten Egg in a Basket down to a science. I call it eggs in a nest. Honestly, I really should eat egg in a basket more often because it reminds me of when I was first dating my partner. Because he made it for me, and that was the first time I had ever eaten it. He would like make a little bit of bacon, and then in the bacon fat, he would put the bread and the bread and the egg. Try making it with brioche bread. Ooh. I'm so glad the Demon Mama drama got sorted out. I was scared that she might have been a bad person with all the people being outed lately. Yeah. I personally didn't really put any stock in those claims because the people who were making those claims were disingenuous individuals. But yeah, you know, it kind of felt like there was like no way for her to avoid making that clarification. But I still watched the video and was like, you know, what is she going to say about this? And it was basically, yeah, like, these people are lying about me and harassing me and my family. Here's the record. Here are the screenshots. Like, okay, definitely good stuff. What's egg in a basket? Egg in a basket is when you take a piece of bread and you cut a hole out of it, and you can save that whole bread and like fry it up and use that also. But you crack an egg into the hole in the bread in the skillet, and then you cook it so that you then have like a piece of toast with an egg in the center. It's pretty good. But yes, we love Demon Mama here. She didn't even want to do a video responding to the drama farmers. She was like, nah, this is for my community. I'm not dealing with drama farmers anymore. Yeah. And I think that was the right way to go. She's like, for people in my community who are concerned, who are wondering if these allegations have any merit, I'm going to address this to make sure that all of my fans feel like they can have confidence in me. And so, yeah, I appreciated that approach for her for sure. But yeah, people have been drama farming around Demon Mama for years, and her partners, if we're being serious. I mean, they're tranny freaks in the first place, and I say that with love. I'm just saying, like, from society's point of view, that's what they are. And the fact that they're into kink and the fact that they're into body modification outside of that, like, I actually don't even know if Mama's partners are into those things. But obviously Demon Mama has split her tongue. You know, they're polyamorous. It's like they're very non-normative as a group. And so those things invite people to deranged speculation and crazy allegations. So, you know, it encouraged me to clean up some of my social media. Like, make sure I don't have any pictures on any websites that I'm on that could, like, indicate where I live or who I've been around. You know, because I didn't used to be as careful as I am now. I've never met a nicer person who got more harassment than Doe. Doe doesn't deserve any of the hate that it's gotten. But yeah, that's what it is. Being trans online, being weird, non-normative online, having lots of weird piercings and tattoos and stuff. People don't like it. People don't like it. Good night, Mersh. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. I know that you're working on Wednesdays, so I appreciate you trying to hang out. To me, Doe is this mysterious figure who I've never seen existing on the internet, but somehow gets a ton of hate. It still tweets sometimes, although its tweets are unprotected the last time I saw, so you might not be able to follow it. And it did used to stream, but I don't think it does now. Like, I don't think that it does anything on the internet except for tweet. And for a while it was doing OnlyFans too, but I don't know if it does that still. But yes, it's been years. How long has it been, guys? Has it been like 3 years since the whole RGR thing? Ugh. Okay. Let's do another Seg. Yeah, I probably should do 2 more. God, that's so much work. Oh my god. Didn't I make a list at some point recently that was like, here's a bunch of Queer 101 things that I should redo, that I should go over again because it's been such a long time? Where is it? It's not this. I thought that there were some people who were like, "Oh yeah, you should cover these topics again because it's been such a long time." Can I do something like that instead of the stupid Trump bullshit that I was about to cover right now? I just don't want to do serious stuff. I want to talk about dumb shit. Why can't we talk about dumb shit? Talk about dicks. I did make a video about dicks at some point. Ooh, congrats, Metroid. Started T 2 weeks ago. Hell yeah. I don't know enough about pussy to talk about pussy. Okay, listen, I'm not any more excited to talk about Trump than any of you are. These videos don't perform very well. Oh well. It's the intersection of Trump and trans is what we're going to talk about real quick. So apparently, a few weeks ago, Trump was at a Moms for Liberty meeting, a conference in Washington, D.C. This is from Aaron in the Morn. And he expressed extremist views on trans people, which are divorced from reality. I guess he made several different comments, but there's like one in particular that's kind of the highlight of this. And I'm going to, I think there's a little video, and so let's see the little video rather than reading just verbatim what Aaron wrote.
Things that almost nobody in this room wants, who I think 85–90% of the country doesn't want if they actually. Absolutely agree. But the transgender thing is incredible. Think of it, your kid goes to school and comes home a few days later with an operation. The school decides what's going to happen with your child. And you know, many of these childs, 15 years later, say, what the hell happened? Who did this to me?
Okay, so if you're keeping track, Trump said that kids go to school and they come back a few days later having had an operation. So he's claiming, like, basically, like, the very basic thing that he's playing off of here is the idea that kids might come out to their parents before they come out to their parents. And that the kid might go to school and be trying out a new name and pronouns at school, and then eventually they tell their parents, right? That's like this big scary thing. We've talked about it in California. California just recently made it to where you are not supposed to, you said parents twice. Oh shoot, hold on. So the teachers, sorry, the Ritalin has worn off. So apparently the teachers can just like trans the kids at school, and then they go home and like now they decide to tell the parents. So sorry. It's late in the day. It's the Wednesday show. The Wednesday show mostly doesn't have the benefits of the ADHD medication that I've been prescribed. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, there is this narrative that has existed previously that, like, oh, these teachers are transing the kids. And I mean, honestly, there is a similar narrative that the parents are transing the kids, but this particular issue is that teachers are influencing kids to be trans, or they're letting them dress a certain way or like do a different thing, and then the parents find out later. Or in California, they just made it to where you're not supposed to, as a teacher, tell the parents something that the kid has confided in you. But this is a step further to say that, like, these public schools, the idea that public schools have the resources, and, like, in what situation are they just keeping your kid for several days and you just don't see your kid? See, this is a guy who you can tell has never been involved with his children, because in what situation, except for like a boarding school, are you sending your kid to school and then like not seeing them for several days? But that public schools are giving kids operations, and that's a totally other situation, like where there's all these claims that operations are being done on children. And so first of all, operations are not done on children. They are very rarely done on older teens. But this is just, it's following along the same kind of scaremongering, except that it's dialed up to 100. Like, let's just crank that dial up. Let's take all these kind of, I guess, more mundane or more normalized rhetoric from Republicans, claiming, oh, they're transing the kids, oh, they're doing, they did surgery on a grape, whatever, and then just like crank it up to something completely unbelievable. And of course, this conversation, this little clip that we watched was just one part of the whole conversation. There was like 20 minutes of discussion relating to trans issues, and I'm not necessarily going to go through the whole thing, obviously, but Aaron elucidates that the Elon Musk interview with Jordan Peterson came up, where Musk rants about the woke mind virus supposedly affecting his trans daughter. The Moms for Liberty leader expressed agreement with Musk's remarks. The conversation shifted to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz enacting the, quote, trans refugee bill, which guarantees the state as a safe haven for trans people. Trump said, that's crazy. And then the Moms for Liberty leader continued raising concerns about, quote, an explosion in the number of people identifying as transgender, and referring to the born in the wrong body claim as abusive. Yeah, like, I guess it's, I think what they say is that it's abusive to tell a child that they were born in the wrong body. But again, that was like trans people trying to relate the concept to cis people in a way that they understood. The majority of trans people don't feel like, oh my God, I was born in the wrong body. Like, this is just like, how can we make cis people understand the very basic premise of what we're going through? And then the cis people ran with it, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're telling children this. Watching his supporters try to defend this statement was honestly sad. They tried saying it was a metaphor or taken out of context, or in most cases, just spewed insults. And I'm just thinking of how sad it is to watch people tie themselves in pretzels for this utter lunatic, like watching victims defend their abusers. Yeah. Like, oh, that's what he explicitly said, but he didn't mean it that way. They're always just trying to wiggle out. Further discussion was prompted where Trump compared school boards to dictatorships, described situations where parents are, quote, screaming for the life of their child, and attributing these conflicts to, quote, transgender and other issues. Moms for Liberty leader expressed concerns about banning the government from funding trans surgeries, to which Trump responded casually, well, you can do anything. The president has such power. Trump also targeted Iman Khalif, who has been labeled as transgender, even though she is not. So Trump is like repeating this false claim about Khalif being trans. Going on about trans women in sports, blah, 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 blah. So basically, he's trying to jump on the bandwagon of targeting trans people in order to boost his numbers, I guess, in order to boost his campaign numbers. Yeah, I don't get why they're so obsessed with us. I mean, the reality is that we are a scapegoat for a fascist takeover. There's always a scapegoat group during these kinds of coups where they have to blame someone and say, oh, we need to steal power and we need to disrupt the balance of powers because this danger is so great, you know? In Nazi Germany, it was Jewish people. I mean, the whole they came after the communists, but I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is kind of functionally the situation, is they have a lot of different scapegoat groups. It's just whichever one they feel is the most effective that they end up cracking down on the hardest, but they still end up impacting a bunch of other groups. They do this with immigration. Like the idea of immigrants and illegal aliens, quote unquote, that is a scapegoat group as well. They just can only wring so much out of it. Like, honestly, I'm surprised with the recent presidential debate that Trump went on so hard about immigration after, like, that just feels like old hat to me. It just feels like old news. But, like, honestly, it's surprising that he didn't scaremonger more about these groomers and such that, you know, is becoming kind of the topic du jour. And then there's a follow-up article from Aaron that the Moms for Liberty founder is, quote, thankful to Trump's school trans surgery lie. Yeah, and Aaron points out that schools do not have the resources, doctors, or legal authority to provide medical gender-affirming care, much less surgeries. When she was asked about the claim, the Moms for Liberty founder Tiffany Justice acknowledged that it was a lie, but said she was thankful to Trump for spreading it. I just saw someone on Twitter responding to it was like a meme about something like this, whether it was a teacher or a parent. I think it was a parent. Like, my gosh, Timmy, why don't you just wear a dress? All the other parents have a trans kid and I don't. And someone responded going like, yeah, this is obviously false. And then someone replied to that going, well, yeah, obviously this literally didn't happen, but the spirit of it is right. The spirit of it is on point. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, you know that this isn't actually happening, but you want to pretend that it's happening because it makes you feel better. Mama Mephistopheles points out it's also a blood libel, a threat, a statement of intent. We're so used to it, but that's still what it is. They call LGBT people child predators because that's the worst thing a human can be, and they want to inflict the punishments that crime deserves on the entire group. They don't compare being LGBT to shoplifting or tax fraud for a reason. Right, yes. They want to make pornography illegal because it's harmful to children, and they want to create jail time for it, and also trans people are porn. And then, like, in Florida, they're equivocating trans people with groomers and child sex criminals, and then they also make it to where it's easier to give sex criminals the death penalty, right? So it's like we're clearly heading in a certain direction. It's not a slippery slope argument. It is what they are setting. They're teeing it up. They're teeing up to be able to come at this with like violent retaliation, basically, against you for just being trans. At a rally, he said this more than once. He said this at another rally following up, saying Kamala supports states being able to take minor children and perform sex change operations, take them away from their parents, perform sex change operations, and send them back home. Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you even imagine this? What the hell is wrong with our country? So yeah, this is from a more recent rally, and I don't feel like listening to him speak because that's really irritating. And the person who shared these links in the Discord server also shared this. So while we're talking about, oh, all these public schools are supposedly forcing kids to be trans, meanwhile, conversion therapy and public education, this is a commentary from next100.org, written by Levi Bohannon, who is talking about a recent investigative report done by HuffPost, which found that millions of American taxpayer dollars are going to private K-12 schools which advocate for or mandate conversion therapy. And this person was forced to participate in conversion therapy as a child and now works in public education or in education policy. They say, I cannot think of a more clearly heinous, despicable, perverse use of limited public education dollars than to perpetuate fake science and inflict a terrible trauma on LGBTQI plus students through conversion therapy. Because these taxpayer dollars are going to private schools. It's not ideal or frequent, but sometimes it's necessary in order to accomplish certain policies and rules, such as providing services for students with disabilities. Other times it's quite distressing because 29 states and Washington, D.C. have voucher programs which, despite their deeply racist origins and lackluster outcomes with regard to student performance, also provide public education dollars to private schools. So let's talk about the conversion therapy stuff. Okay, where are we getting here? Conversion therapy is banned for minors in 20 states that span the political spectrum from Utah to New York. This report has found... Let's see. Let me click the report. In New York, this child, Megan Mishkin, was drawing a still life in art class when she heard her name called over the loudspeaker. She packed up her belongings and headed to the main office, where the school secretary was waiting for her. Everything is going to be okay, sweetie, the secretary said to the high school sophomore. Mishkin is a student at Calvary Christian Academy in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. At the time, she tried to remain calm and brace for bad news. The secretary directed her to a room where school leaders waited. The group made about 5 excruciating minutes of small talk before the staff members got down to business, suggesting that Mishkin was broken and in need of fixing, and they hoped that anti-gay counseling could be the solution. This Christian Academy is one of at least 9 private schools that participate in voucher or tax credit programs and appear to push LGBTQ students to attend a form of conversion therapy. HuffPost 2017 found that at least 14% of religious schools in voucher programs advertised anti-gay policies or barred LGBTQ students and staff from admission and employment. HuffPost has found that some of these schools go so far as to push a medically discredited and often harmful treatment on their students in an attempt to change their sexual orientation. Stories of this child's sexuality had spread. She had a girlfriend from another school, and administrators said her classmates' mothers had complained about their daughters having to share a room with her. Huh? Isn't that familiar? Isn't that familiar? This is the thing. All of the transphobia is just recycled homophobia. They're like, oh, we don't want these, these trans-identified males in the bathroom with our kids because they could be being creepy. It's exactly the same thing they used to say about lesbians, and I can't even say they used to say it about lesbians because they're saying it today about a child. This was a crushing, humiliating blow. She had spent months preparing for the competition. Oh, because there was an overnight school trip to a statewide theater competition, only to be told that her peers and their families were afraid of her. She cried and tried to explain that she would never have done anything inappropriate with another student. School administrators laid out her options. The group reminded her that they believe the Bible says homosexuality is wrong. Then they told her she would have to attend counseling to discuss her sexuality if she wanted to remain enrolled at the Christian Academy. Period. Mishkin is now 21 and going to New York University. Jason Rachels, the head of school at Calvary Christian Academy, told HuffPost that, quote, anti-gay therapy is not a process we use or a part of a policy at our school. However, he did not dispute any specific part of Michigan's account, saying, we exist to serve families with similar values that align with our school's statement of faith. We don't hide our beliefs or encourage anyone to enroll who does not desire the same for their family. So yeah, basically, like, there's all these lies about how public schools are trying to force kids to be trans. Meanwhile, actual, like, taxpayer dollars are going to private schools, which are actually forcing kids to go to counseling, quote unquote, for their aberrant sexual orientation, which I'm sure is bleeding out into, like, also trans people as well. You know, like, let's say your family puts you in a school and then you discover that you're trans when you're like 14 or whatever. And now suddenly, you know, you're going through a counseling to try to change you. HuffPost found at least 8 schools with handbooks that seemed to openly require or encourage some form of counseling for kids experiencing same-sex attraction, which experts say often acts as a euphemistic term for conversion therapy. Of course. Of course. Of course. Yeah, these people should not be allowed anywhere near children. Agreed. I'm out as a lesbian, although actually secretly I'm trans mask, and people still do the whole quote, I don't want you to be around us while we're sleeping or getting dressed. Yeah, it's really fucking dumb. So I don't know that I have like a point to this. But yeah, it's projection. Yeah. They're like, well, you're doing this bad thing. And I don't actually think that it's bad to try to force kids to be something that they're not, as long as it has to do with forcing them to be, quote, normal according to my beliefs. Like, according to them, it's not actually bad, excuse me, for schools to pressure your kid to do something with regards to their sexual orientation. It's only bad if you're forcing them to be trans or gay or whatever, which, of course, nobody is doing. But they are. They are. Okay, I'm putting this in my notes. I don't think there's much else I can add at this point. And technically, we have one more story left. Right. Yeah, what I believe is the natural, normal thing that everyone is already, which is why I have to force everyone to be the way that I say they naturally are. Right. This is the thing. When they claim that being straight and being cisgender is normal, and being a masculine man and being a feminine woman, all these things are normal and natural. Why are they putting so much work into preserving those archetypes? Like, why are they having to try so hard? You wouldn't have to put this much work into preserving these structures if they truly were natural and normal and everybody just falls into them by default. You wouldn't have to abuse your little boy for playing with a pink toy if it were true that boys naturally have an affinity for blue and they hate pink, you know? On a very basic level. Yeah, children notoriously reject things you push on them anyway. if you redo the Queer 101 videos, they might go different in this modern day. Yeah, I'm sure that the context and like what I say in the videos would be different too. I haven't done a Queer 101 video in forever. Although I did, what is it in my notebook? I think at some point I got a bunch of ideas from you guys for stuff that we could... I think I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I should do some other stuff that's maybe more evergreen instead of stuff that's like, you know, stuff that I have to like... Yeah, here it is. So I could redo the bi versus pan video. I could do explaining non-binary again, what detransitioning really is. So that's probably me talking about how if you just lose access to hormones or stop taking hormones, but you still identify as trans, that doesn't mean you detransitioned. How to be an ally, explaining agender, asexual, and aromantic, or the ace-aro spectrum, how to parent a trans kid, the difference between sex and gender and anarchism, note, gender abolition versus gender anarchy, trans historical figures, the politics of you go low, we go high, how to come out as trans, how to know if you're trans, transandrophobia. I did make a video about transandrophobia. I did do that. How to know if you're trans could be useful. So I guess, like, here's a little list of stuff that I could do. Everyone forgets that pink used to be considered a masculine color. True. Pink was the color for little boys, and baby blue was the color for little girls. Yeah, Queer 101 in 2014. Here's the different pride flags. Queer 101 in 2024. Laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group in a given nation. It's just the promise of violence that's enacted, and the police are basically an occupying army. Oh, goodness gracious. It's fun what the life that we live. If you include Omni in the Bipan video, put a pic of Omni-Man in the thumbnail. True. All these sound amazing. Do all of them slowly over time, maybe? Yeah. I think you should definitely update the coming out video. I mean, I think everything that I say in it is pretty still accurate, but... In a box. Thank you for the $30 dono, which actually brings us over $100. Says gold for the horde. I really need to sleep. You do need to sleep. If you're sick, and it sounds like you're sick, it sounds like maybe you should go lie down. But thank you very much for your dono. That brings us up to the dono goal, and it's 105 out of 100. Okay, it's time. Ooh. Again, I can't wait until I have a standing desk and I can properly, like, take a step away from the camera and show off my back muscles. OMG. I haven't really been working out that much because I'm like hiking on the weekends and I'm fucking tired throughout the entire week. So I'm just trying desperately to cut a little bit of the body fat so that my muscles will actually show. I'm sleeping in the living room this week. My partner is isolating in the bedroom. Good call. Yes. Oh, hey, look at that. So I just took off my branded Luxander hoodie. And what's underneath? It's a branded Luxander tank top. Hell yeah, dude. Like, is there any more definition yet? I don't think so. I haven't been working out my biceps as much, so there's only so much I can do. Anyway. Mostly the vibes of the coming out video. Trans people weren't the scapegoat back then that we are now. That's true. I'm just going to touch my hair a little bit so you can see the arms. Anarchy Lux for president. True. How often do you go to the gym? I'm on 5 days a week. I quit my gym membership, actually, because people are disgusting and I don't want to be around them. So I switched to doing calisthenics. I bought some resistance bands, and I already have a pull-up bar and gymnastics rings. So I have plenty of workout equipment at home. I just haven't been doing it because, like, literally I'm hiking for like 8 hours a day on Saturday and Sunday. So like 16 hours of hiking every week. And I'm just like trying to rest during the week and recuperate. And then I still have work to do and everything. So I'm just really fucking tired right now. And I'm trying to sleep better. My eyeballs. Okay. Thank you for donating so much, in a box. Go to fucking sleep. If I'm COVID positive tomorrow, I'll get to sleep in the bedroom again. That'll be nice. Yeah. True enough. Yes, win-win. Save money and avoid germ factories. I think I was getting very close to having to pay my annual membership fee, so I get to save that $50. Not pay it. And under the branded tank, listen, the official Luxander Bodong Conquerors. I mean, sports bra. Not branded. I could put a branded sports bra on the website. I could do that, but I have not. Working out at home. It's the way to go. I'm really, like, I think the thing that I want to focus on is my arms, like my shoulders in particular. Like, obviously, the biceps look good, but I just, look at how weird this is. I have, like, this weird boniness on my shoulder. Like, this muscle right here is completely undeveloped, but then I have this chunk of meat down here. It's so strange. That would be a cool bra I'd actually want to wear. I think I got it from Target. Or maybe Walmart. I can't remember, but it's cool. It zips in the front. It has a zipper. Oh my god, I think I have to do one more segment. I don't want to, but I need to. I don't have any control over the sizes of the stuff on the website. Someone just commented like, "Oh, I'd like to get some of your merch, but it is not big enough." And I'm like, "Fuck, I can't control that." That's what's available on the website. I just slap my design on it, and then they're from like good production. It's not like it's Chinese bullshit or whatever. But yeah, I don't have a lot of control over that. I think you look good. Honestly, I'm a little jealous. I am blessed to be genetically prone to being thin. So I weigh the most I've ever weighed in my life right now at about 150. And, you know, I still look pretty okay. Ugh. Oh my god. Okay. One more. One more. I'm so eepy. I'm God's eepiest soldier. Why are you giving me your most difficult trials and tribulations? Can we just acknowledge for a moment that Tim Walz is younger than Tom Cruise? Sure. Tom Cruise can afford, like, hair transplants and Botox. More coffee? I know. I'm on decaf. Excuse me. I have considered getting adjustable dumbbells. But that would cost money, and I'm going to save that money. And also, why I'm like going to buy something heavy and then I have to put it on the U-Haul. I would love to have your weight to height ratio. Well, that's a secret. I'm like, I don't know, like 5'7" or something. Ever try kettlebells? I have done some stuff with kettlebells before. I'm planning, like, if I buy a house in the next few years, part of what I would love to do is have like a basement gym or a shed that's a gym. So, yeah. For now, I just have some resistance bands and all that. I saw that Lumi posted a picture of their abs, but I was like, it's cheating. Listen, it's cheating if you do this. Like, yeah, way to like make your shit look bigger by like smushing your arms against the back of your, you know? That just feels like cheating to me. Oh, I would love to have your weight to height. Okay, yeah. Every kettlebell exercise I've ever seen could also be done with a dumbbell. Right, yeah, because you could just hold a dumbbell like this and then do whatever. Ooh, biceps. Controlled poses is the key to good photography. I know, it's true. I'm low 140s and over 6 foot, very wafy and no extra if I get sick ever. Well, stop it. Eat more donuts or something. Oh my god, donuts are delicious. I'm trying to like cut back on my sugar because I just don't need that much sugar right now. I'm 5'10", 140. It sucks. I made a point to gain weight when I was bulking, and then I'm having such a hard time cutting it back. This is a nice gym workout thing. Like, there would be side boob right there if I wasn't wearing a tank top. I'm very jealous of your lats, Lux. Yeah, I don't know. Now that I'm working from home, I am trying to get to a place where I can do pull-ups, but I kind of can't. So I just take my resistance band and put it across the pull-up bar, and then I do pull-downs that way. And then I also do, because I don't have anywhere to do lat rows, I do like, I kind of hang from my gym rings, and then I pull myself up at an angle, and that works the shit out of my upper back. I also have fat here. So it's not just muscular. I also am just kind of fat. I know some of us are trying to lose weight, some of us are trying to gain weight. I just want to lose 5 pounds. Like, if I can just lose 5 pounds without losing a bunch of muscle mass, I'm gonna feel much fucking happier. I think I need to get back into cardio is my problem. I did cardio and I did successfully lose a few pounds, and then I switched back to a bulk and I immediately gained it back. And I'm like, all right, I need to get back into the cardio. Harder to do without being able to just use the recumbent bike at the gym. Trying to gain weight is so weird because, like, everybody is expected to want to lose weight. Yeah, I mean, well, it sort of depends. If you get into the, I know I'm not fat objectively, okay? I'm just saying, like, I weigh more than I've ever weighed, and it's, like, in a lot of different places. This is the thing about having female fat distribution is that it's kind of everywhere. But yes, if you get into the fitness communities, people switch back and forth between gaining weight and losing weight, because when you're trying to put on muscle, you also need to, you will necessarily put on some fat because you're eating more than you're spending. So a lot of bodybuilding people, or like people who are interested in building muscle, they bulk and gain weight and then switch to a cut and lose weight. Trying to cardio away your weight is a losing game. 1 hour on the elliptical only burns like 600 calories for me, and that's 1 Costco hot dog. I don't fucking eat hot dogs. I'm eating oatmeal and fucking turkey and chicken. But yes, cardio is good for stamina and your heart. I don't burn 600 calories in like a regular workout. You burn so much more doing like low to mid intensity cardio. Yawn. And I definitely wouldn't weigh as much as I do if I didn't have a bunch of muscle. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like that's not part of it. Muscle weighs more than fat. Like, per square inch, muscle weighs a lot more. So I'm definitely like, if you were looking at BMI, I'm probably like at the high end of what's acceptable for my height. But there are people who are just pure fucking muscle. Like, Dave Bautista was like 320 pounds at his heaviest, but it was pure fucking muscle. So it's like, that's not a great measurement, obviously. Okay, anyway, we have one more segment we need to do. Not just talk about fitness. Go find a farmer that needs someone to chop wood if you want to lose weight. Uses a huge number of muscles across the job and is mid-level exercise for hours. True. I weigh 200 pounds and I'm much thinner now than the last time I was 200 pounds. I could show you, but it'd also be a transition timeline. Yes. DJ says cycling. It brought me down from 375 to 300 in about 6 months on a daily 14 to 16 mile ride. My calves and thighs looked so good. Yeah, and I would like to get a bike. I think that is going to be something that I end up doing, either biking or hiking or some combination thereof. But I'm about to move 2,000 miles across the country, and I really don't want to buy a bicycle and then have to move it across the country and like store it in my rental. Like I don't know where I would even begin to store a bike in my rental. I was raised practically vegetarian, and I'm just now realizing I really need more calories and protein than I've ever gotten, especially if I want to put on weight. Yeah, like if you eat beef and pork, there's a lot of fat in that, and fat has more calories per gram than protein does. Yeah, like 3 times as much than either protein or carbs, I think. So, drinking whole fat milk, But be careful of your cholesterol if you start incorporating those saturated fats into your diet. Wait to buy a bike in Oregon, huge biking culture and lots of good used ones. That's kind of the plan. The plan is to get a bike at some point. Ugh. Oh my gosh. I don't want to talk about this story, actually. I think I've decided I'm too tired and I don't want to do this. From what I've heard, the mountain biking in Oregon goes crazy. Hell yeah, I bet. Too bad, I am only going to have 3 segments for today. Or hold on, no, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, why did I need to do 5? I have 1 ready to go tomorrow. Oh, because it would push me into Thursday for next week. Okay. But whatever, I have 4 segments to edit for today, so I'm just going to leave it. Can you become a bike if you're a bi-lesbian? Listen. Good night, Strawberry Estrogen. I'll probably stay on for at least another 10 minutes because I started the stream a little bit late today, so I want to get at least close to that 8 o'clock mark. Some of the mountain biking trails are insane. I can't even ride like I used to in Arizona. Great riding there too. You know, I'm kind of squirrely about using hiking trails because I was just looking on Reddit and apparently there was like 2 rapes and 1 attempted rape in Eugene. And it just has me feeling uncomfortable about doing something like hiking or mountain biking. I would love to, but yeah, the fact that there are people doing that, not only is there like the kind of background fear of being assaulted in public, but the fact that it's like happened to several people in that area recently is spooky to me. Quick, everyone think of silly phrases to make Lux read out and then clip out of context. That happened to me on the Come Posting podcast earlier today, too. If you go with someone, you should be fine. Yeah, but what if I don't want to go with someone? Like, what if I want to go hiking during the day while my partner's at work? I thought that maybe it would be a great idea to get a dog in that case if I'm going to start hiking. I'm not really big on dogs, but if I get like a pibble or something with short hair. I had something bothering me on my chin. Strength in numbers. I know it works because I stalk and murder people. True. Trying to get people who are supposedly interested in hiking with you to actually get out of bed at 6:30 a.m. to go hiking with you is nearly impossible. Yeah. I don't know if I would go that early in the morning. See, this is part of why I want to live in the country. Like, I want to live on a chunk of land that's big enough that I can functionally go hiking and just be on my own land. Cool, just unlocked a fear I didn't know I had about hiking. Yeah. I mean, this is the whole premise of the bear versus man question. You know, I saw this post that a woman posted about, like, she went hiking with a couple of female friends, and they did encounter a couple of bears during this trip. And they just, you know, they started singing and kind of being loud while they were walking, and that kept the bears away. And then they encountered two men when they were trying to make camp, and one of the guys just would not leave them alone, like could not take the hint. You know, it's considered really impolite to enter someone else's campsite without like a really specific reason. And this guy was just like hanging around them and wouldn't leave them alone until his male companion was like, dude, you're being weird, and like left. And so in order for him to not be separated from his companion, he had to leave. But he was just bound and determined to bother these women. And that was women in a group. That was 3 women. Something I do recommend if you really get into mountain biking is learn how to use clip shoes. It makes the whole thing a lot safer and gives you a lot more power while going up hills. Bring your taser and pepper spray. You should be okay. I might bring more than my taser and pepper spray if I'm going to go hiking or biking alone. Also in Oregon, it is normal to carry bear spray. You carry bear spray. True, I could just carry bear spray. I am excited. I mean, it's going to be winter when I move, so it's not going to be like the best time of year. I'm going to move to the Pacific Northwest during the rainy bullshit time of year. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. Knowing that I have enough money to probably make the move already, and then plus I'm going to still be saving and being thrifty and stuff over the next couple months. Like, I have made a couple purchases that are ill-advised. Perhaps, like a couple of things that I don't need. You know, like I did not need to buy the bottles to bottle my kombucha, but like, you know, I'll indulge a hobby here and there a little bit. But mostly from this point, once you're over here, you got to come visit. I'm totally prepared to like road trip up to Seattle and like spend a whole day, maybe like probably once a month even, coming up there and like seeing people, having lunch, you know, going to some botanical gardens. Dizzy was telling me that there's some really solid botanical gardens that are great to walk around. My plan is to save for the next few months, except for one thing. I'm going to get my nips pierced. Mama, you should DM me, because I may or may not have an appointment to do that next month. I may or may not have made an appointment to do that, because I assume it's going to be more expensive in Oregon. And it takes like 6 to 12 months to heal, so. Don't let the Oregonians fool you. It is sunny for a few hours almost every day, and we get so many fucking rainbows. We just talk about the constant rain to scare people. Maybe 3 total weeks of straight rain divided up into 3 to 7 day segments. I mean, basically what I've heard is that in the winter it rains for like 7 months. Or sorry, for 4 months straight. I read the word 7. Like the winter is the time that it's rainy, and then it gets better around the rest of the year. But that is funny. You're like, no, we just scare people away. I had a nip pierce, but my little nips rejected it. I'm just like praying that I don't have complications with it. The last piercings that I got healed a little bit weird. It was these guys, my little black ones. It is really rainy, but not like people say. Yeah. And I think that I'll be glad to have a little bit less sun, because then it's like a little bit less skin cancer. You still got to be cautious, but a little bit less skin cancer. I think I'm a good candidate because mine are large but not sensitive. Yeah, it apparently can increase your sensitivity. And I've also heard people say that the second one hurts more than the first one if you get them both done at the same time. So if you have one that's more sensitive than the other, you should do the sensitive one first. I'm on the fence about whether I want to leave Florida. I planned on leaving because of my fear of Project 2025, but I have hope now but also it's illegal to transition here. It's complicated. Leave. Capital L, leave. Don't, like, hold out hope that it's gonna get better. Holy shit. Yeah, that's why people should vote for Mama for cult leader. I think part of it is that Oregonians don't count drizzle / decently light rain as rain. Yeah, like, does it only count if it's, like, pouring? I wonder if it's a good idea to use lidocaine or something beforehand. So I don't think they want you to do that because it changes the blood vessels in that area, and it can basically make it to where, like, the piercing will not be in the place that they intended to put it after the lidocaine wears off. Like, it changes the blood vessel flow to that area. And also, apparently it's more like it's sore for a couple hours afterwards. Like, the initial piercing doesn't hurt that bad, I've heard. But yeah, I think generally they don't want you to use lidocaine. And also, so my tattoo on my leg that I got this year, I got the outline first, and I had to stop because I kept feeling sick, like I was going to pass out or whatever. And then I got it filled in. And when I got it filled in, I used lidocaine. And because I used the lidocaine and it, like, saturated my skin and made my skin all wet and moist, like it is when you've just been in the pool for a long time, some of the ink fell out. And that probably wouldn't have happened if I hadn't used the lidocaine. So when I got it touched up last week, I didn't use the lidocaine because, first of all, I was like, oh, it's just going to be some touch-ups. I'm not going to need it. But yeah, my tattooist was saying, yeah, sometimes the ink just won't take in the skin if you use the lidocaine. So, you know, it can help you get through the tattoo, but you're at risk of needing touch-ups more than you would otherwise. I know a lot because I do a lot of research on these things. Okay, well, we've talked about a lot today. We talked about lidocaine is numbing cream, yeah. Well, lidocaine, it can also be injected. Like, when I cut the shit out of my finger, and you can kind of see that, like, this part of my finger is a little bit weird. It's because I had, like, had a big cut, like, all the way around. So they inject lidocaine before they give you, like, stitches, or they inject lidocaine into your mouth, but you can get a numbing cream. Where is it? Numbing cream. Lidocaine. So, I mean, it can be useful. And if you are somebody who gets sick when you get a shot, you can use it to, like, numb the part of your arm. Or, not a shot, but, like, if you're getting blood drawn, it can help with that too. Just get really drunk. Yeah, sure. Get really drunk and then sign a paper that says, I promise I'm not drunk. Okay. My dear sweet Horde loves, you're the best. And I am planning on seeing you on Wednesday next week. I will not see you on Sunday. Or, hold on, no, actually, if you want to tune in for the Transatlantic Call-In Show tomorrow, I will be on the Transatlantic Call-In Show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time. So, feel free to catch that. I'll post in the Discord about it as usual. And if I don't see you tomorrow, then I'll see you Wednesday. Okay? All right. Love ya.